Hi, welcome to the Creative Loop. My name is Esther Loopstra, and I have a newsletter that I send out weekly, and you can see that's my newsletter, and this is my first time vlogging, so we'll see how it goes. I had some technical difficulties with my camera, so the quality should be getting better soon. Hopefully next time. A few little things work out. But I just wanted to share with you a couple of things um, that I've been thinking about. So I like to talk to people about creativity and how we can bring more creativity into our life. And one of the things I want to talk about today is how do we get into the flow when we're creating. And so many times I feel stuck in the process of creating. A lot of times, um, I will get into the flow really easily, and other times I'll feel like I'm stuck and I'm too much in my mind, and that creative process isn't happening as fast as I want it to. So the more that I started reading and listening to podcasts, listening to people who study creativity, which I'm fascinated by, the more I've realized that creativity is a process. There's a process, just like the scientific method. When we discovered the scientific method, it made everything easier for scientists to come up with a solution, right? Same thing for creativity. There is a process that can help us to get into that state of flow and to get us able to create an actual product easier. So I want to run through kind of my summary of that process. And first of all, I know I talk a lot about, if you've been reading my newsletters, I talk a lot about open and closed mode. And in my online course and my in-person course, I really help people to kind of stay mostly in open mode. Now, this came from John Cleese, who you might know from Monty Python, sorry. From Monty Python. He talks a lot about creativity, and he says, there are two modes basically, open and closed mode. So in open mode, this is where your inner artist lives. You spend a lot of this time when you're a kid, exploring, being curious, thinking about what if questions, being playful and receptive and humorous. In closed mode, we might be more critical. This is where our inner critic lives. So we need this mode, but a lot of times we go into closed mode too quickly and we don't give ourselves enough time in open mode. So closed mode we might be critiquing ourselves a little bit more, being logical, and being tighter about the solutions that we come up with. So most people really, when they have an idea that they want to come up with creatively, they go almost immediately into closed mode, thinking with your logical brain. So you're thinking with your logical brain so much of the time, you're just used to it. But I want to kind of show you this other way of staying 3/4 of the time in open mode. So really, in the creative process, 3/4 of your time should be spent brainstorming, experimenting, and all of these other things I'll show you. So I've created a little acronym, and it's called FLOW. So the first F stands for finding inspiration. So let's just goes down. So the first, so finding inspiration. let's just say I want to create a painting. So I've got a lot of unfinished paintings behind me. And so what I would do to, so like I said, immediately, a lot of people want to, when say I want to come up with an idea for a painting, my first instinct is to just like get out the canvas and, and just plan, right? Just plan something and then make it. But that doesn't give our creative brain enough time to kind of synthesize a lot of times. And then we get really frustrated with ourselves when we can't immediately make things perfect. So if we go out and find inspiration, so if I'm thinking I want to create a painting, what I would do is think, so I want to start with this broad perception, right? And then get smaller and smaller as I go in the creative process. So I want to go, and everything is possible to me. So I could take a walk. I could look online at other artists that I find interesting. What do I want to paint about? Maybe I want to paint nature, and so I go outside and I find inspiration. Maybe I want to paint about things that are important to me, so maybe I would do some writing or think about like what inspires me. So finding those things that inspire me, maybe they're like partly other artists, partly other colors or things that I find interesting, so taking note of that. So next, I often talk to my students about loosening up. So once you have your inspiration, you're also going to immediately want to get into the project, right? So finding inspiration really is getting into the project, but then when you want to loosen up, you want to kind of expand yourself again and take some time to get into your body, take some time to feel the sensation of where your body is and what you're feeling, your emotions. We want to get in touch with our creativity. And so once we have this inspiration, we don't want to just copy what other artists are doing, or I don't really want to just draw exactly what I see in nature. I want to get in touch with who my inner artist is. So I took a painting class from Flora Bali, and she's an amazing artist, and she taught me how to get in touch with my intuition. So if I was doing a painting, I would gather inspiration, and then I would just start creating on my painting. I would do either some intuitive drawing, which is basically just like taking a sketchbook, listening to music, and just doodling. So I'm getting in touch with how does my body feel, how does it move, and then you're really like loosening up and getting out of that headspace, because when you're in the first part of finding inspiration, you might still be a little bit in your head. So getting into your intuition, getting in touch with who you are as an artist. And that really has a lot to do with your body and how your body moves. Everybody's hand has like a different motion. If you are doing music, maybe you're trying to create music, then maybe you would spend some time just playing, riffing, whatever feels good to you, just what naturally comes out of you. So you want to try to you're going to incorporate your inspiration and what naturally comes out of you. So that's really what that loosening up part is. And third, opening up to possibilities. So opening up to possibilities goes along with our inspiration, and it's all about play. So if again, going back to the idea of creating a painting, I would start thinking about still being playful. So I like the idea of, when you are when you're loosening up, you're really getting into play and feeling very playful and exploring like when you were a kid. And when you are in this opening up to possibilities time, you you are thinking. So you are slowly, going from big ideas, so many ideas, slowly whittling it down, right? So this might be brainstorming. So you still are not you're not bringing your logical mind totally back into it where you're critiquing yourself. You're still opening up to all these possibilities. So brainstorming, you never want to shut yourself off from any possibilities. This could be sketching, like so I might write down a whole list of ideas of things that I might want to paint about, or I could do like really quick sketches, like a bunch of different sketches about like ways to combine my inspiration and my intuitive drawings that I came up with in the past. And so this idea of opening up, asking those what if questions. What if this happened? What if that happened? What if those are the ways that creative genius happens. So creative genius really is combining ideas, really asking questions and taking, really observing a few different things and combining them into something that is uniquely you and a brand new idea. So so if you're trying to come up with a brand new exciting idea, you don't want to close yourself off yet from any ideas. You just want to put as many of them out there as you can. And lastly, weave together. So this might be when you start bringing your logical mind back in, looking at all the stuff that you've gathered, looking at your sketches that you just made, your ideas, and then you say, okay, well, maybe this would work. I like this best. I like this. I like these colors. I like these shapes. I like how this looks. So maybe you went from this really large, everything is possible, to bringing it down to yes, I really think this might work, and maybe it's a few options, and definitely you're still going to have to once you get focused and once you get into that weaving together stage, you definitely are going to have to keep stepping back and going back into some of these open to possibilities, loosening up, and inspiration. So you might be going back and forth through these again. You just want to stay as much as you can in that open mode, right? And so that you can explore, keep your exploration open, and you really just don't want to get bogged down with the inner critic talking to you and telling you, this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right. So this really helped me so much because, when I would get excited about doing the painting and I would get all the stuff and I would start doing it, and then my inner critic would just say, oh, this sucks, just tell me all of these these things, or it would just want to be trying to help me. But if I realize that I have this whole process where 3/4 of it are just play, 3/4 of it are just playing and exploring, and then I realize and I trust myself, okay, well, after this, then I can actually take the time and critique myself after this, but I have all this time to play. So I hope this helps you, and if you like what I shared with you here, you can go to my website and sign up for my newsletter, and I'll send out more of these type of topics. Okay, have a creative week.